Hello, my fellow minions of darkness, to another episode of Ghouly Pleasures. I'm Kendra.
And I'm Darcy, and today we're going to be recapping Talamasca Episode 3, and welcome to Derry Episode 2.
Yes.
Feels like we should be
since we did a double feature.
Right. Feels like we should be further along, but here we are. We're going to start with Talamasca, and then we will get into Welcome to Derry afterwards. As a heads up, we may not be reviewing everything in sequential order. A lot happens in both of these episodes, so we're trying to present the information in a way that is going to make the most sense.
Yes, it's more of a rundown than a recap.
Right. But so we're going to start with Talamasca Episode 3. The Task at Hand. It was directed by Eva Sorog. Some of her credits include American Gods. I didn't really recognize too many others, but she does have a lot of directing credits to her name. Writing credits are for, obviously, our Lord and Savior, Stephen King. We also have Donald Joe. Some things I recognized from him were Covert Affairs and Snowpiercer, the TV series, not the movie.
Oh, I know it's not Snowpiercer the movie. We know who directed that.
True. Vinnie Wilhelm is also credited as a writer. I did recognize one thing that he did, a few things, but the thing that stuck out was a TV series called The Terror, which is obviously a horror by just the name alone.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, I actually watched some of it. I didn't finish it, but what I saw, I liked. When I have more time, I'll probably go back to it. He also wrote for Penny Dreadful, City of Angels.
Oh. I was about to be like, oh, this is about to bang.
Right? I knew I would get you with that. I saw Penny Dreadful. I was like, no way! But it's the unfortunate spinoff.
That no one watched.
Right. Not the Beautiful Parent series that was canceled way too early and abruptly for our liking. Rest in peace.
RIP.
All right, so this episode opens in 1972. We have a flashback to Talamasca headquarters in Amsterdam, and the whole place is going down in flames.
Yes, their whole archive of all their information gone.
Exactly. We cut back to the present, and we're at a crime scene. This is the crime scene that Guy fled in the last episode, and the police are investigating. There's a male cop, and he believes it's an open and shut case.
Yep, he's the investigator from the first episode who saw Soledad.
Right. This was Soledad is the person who was working for Helen before Guy took her place after she died. So the police are investigating. This detective believes it's an open and shut case, that Kevis killed Archie and then hanged herself. But there is a female cop who we will refer to as Detective Ridges, and she's not as convinced as this other detective is.
Yes, he wants to close the case. It's a simple murder-suicide, but she's like, there's no blood spatter. There's nothing that indicates that this is what you think it is.
Right.
Vicious.
They know Archie lost less blood than they expected, but there are also no drag marks to indicate that Kevis might have killed him somewhere else and then brought him here.
Yep, they said she's too small to have done that anyway.
Exactly. The pieces aren't adding up. And to top it all off,
making sense.
Exactly. To top it all off, they find an unknown hair strand on Archie, and they run it for DNA. At the time of this episode, they don't come back with conclusive results, but I think most of us are just assuming that it's Guy's.
Yeah, we have an inkling.
So things aren't looking good for Guy right now, but we do cut back to his storyline where he is back at his day job.
Yep. And he's going through it. You can see there's trauma from what he witnessed the other night, but he's pushed through sexy girl strippers, but he's not where he's mentally. He's not feeling the strippers today.
Asians on the right, Polish on the left. He's doing his job, but he ain't feeling it. And while he's working, he sees another mysterious X, a white X on a telephone booth, which we now know is X marks the spot. This is going to bring him to another message from the Talamasca. He follows the trail. He ends up meeting with Helen, who's now arrived in London. So Guy now meets his handler, Olive, as we are told by Helen.
And Olive is the girl we meet at the club the day before where he's with Kevis and they're making out, they're having a great old time, and she whispers to him, "You are in so much trouble." And now
Yes.
I finally know who she is.
Yes, a handler who doesn't do a very good job at handling the person she's tasked with handling.
Literally, a glorified babysitter does nothing.
Right, had one job,
Had
but
one
look
job.
look at this child involved in a murder, like under investigation. Things are not going
Did
well.
literally everything he was told not to do.
Exactly. But Guy sees Helen and he's furious because all he can think about is Kevis's death and that Helen is the person that put him in this position. And she feels sorry that Kevis died, but she's not dwelling on it in the way that Guy is. And there's kind of a conflict of morality between the two of
Yeah.
them.
But once again, Guy is just a regular guy pulled off the street into this world. Helen has been in this for who knows how long.
Who knows how
Who
long?
knows how long.
Right. He's handling it for better and for worse, the way a totally normal person would react to this situation,
Exactly.
which is actually refreshing to see
It
in
is.
a genre show because usually they're like, "Oh, like yeah, okay, no worries."
Yeah, so gung ho for everything that's happening. And in real life, that's not how we are.
Right. So again, I feel like Guy's coming across as really like realistic and practical, all things considered, given
Hmm.
the genre that he's in. We learn a few things during this conversation because Guy is really upset and he's looking for answers. A lot of this episode is filled with Guy trying to get more answers about what's going on. We find out that Kevis belonged to a witch coven and wouldn't have guessed,
Wouldn't have guessed.
had no idea. Her gift was seduction and distraction, which she used to extract intel from
Mm.
different people. So Helen and Olive are both concerned what Guy might have disclosed to her during their time together. Guy assures them that he didn't tell her anything during his time with Kevis, but he's very concerned about the crime scene that he followed her to and
Yeah,
fled. Helen assures Guy that his tracks are covered. Um, but he is still
understandably
understandably
concerned.
very much so. And he wants more answers. So we learn more. We learn about the 752, which is obviously this book that was in Kevis's bag in the
Yes,
previous
and
episode.
the scene shows us Guy remember seeing the bag. I mean, seeing
Yes.
the book in Kevin's bag, but he does not say it to Helen. He keeps
Right.
that.
Yes. He's starting to piece the puzzle together. But I think he's thinking like, well, she doesn't share anything with me. So why am I going to share the one piece of information that I have with her?
Exactly. He's going to keep that close to his chest.
Exactly. So the 752, we find out, is actually a reference to Talamasca's founding year, 752 AD, and it is believed to contain all the information that was burned in their central library in the opening scene.
Hmm.
They don't know all the details about it because most people don't even believe that it's a real thing.
Yes, they only hear rumors about it. No one's actually seen it.
Exactly. They believe some rogue Talamasca member backed up the archive and they hid it from everyone else. There's a lot of questions of how could they fit an entire library in one book? But basically, it's waved away as this is magic. So don't think too hard about it. It's magic and technology. She's like, you can put all this on a USB. Why not a whole library in a book, guy? Come on, be for real. So we learned that the 752 primarily holds information that is sensitive because there's leverage to be used over the immortals within it,
Yes.
possibly deadly knowledge. And Helen is concerned that if they lose the 752 or if the 752 falls into the wrong hands, they're not going to be able to protect the mortal world anymore. The balance that they've worked so hard to maintain is going to offset, and who knows what'll happen.
That's very fair.
Absolutely. I mean, the immortals already have an unfair advantage in terms of everything. Like age, they remember everything, they have time
Hmm.
to exert influence, they have physical powers, supernatural powers. So I think Helen is totally justified in hoping that there's something there to help her gain more leverage over the immortals. We find out that Olive, in contrast to Helen, actually doesn't believe it exists, but she does insinuate to Guy that she kind of thinks Helen's a little untethered about the 752.
Hmm.
Untethered is such a weird word to use, but I took it to be maybe she's not so grounded in reality. Like maybe
Yeah.
she's chasing something that doesn't exist.
Hmm. That's what I got from it.
Yeah. So Guy leaves Helen and Olive, and he ends up backtracking to the crime scene. Now
Yes.
that he realizes that this book he saw in Kevis's bag was the 752, this thing that everyone is looking for, he's like, maybe I should check that out.
Yeah, finally.
I had 2 chances,
Yeah, 2 chances.
at
I
least.
told him the book. The book.
Literally, when Archie was dying, his last words, the book, the book. And Guy was like, it's fine.
It's fine. You'll be okay.
You'll
Everything's
be
fine.
okay. Flashlight shining in Archie's eyes as he's dying. You're fine. But Guy returns to the crime scene. He finds Kevis's backpack, but there's no book.
No book. The book is gone.
Right. So someone took the book, or maybe the book magicked itself somewhere. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know.
Weird shit happens all the time, especially when it's a magic book involved. Helen herself said so, okay? But I think Guy is feeling very guilty over Kevis. Very sad, very guilty. They really connected.
This
He
is like the
decides,
first person he had a connection with in a long time.
right, they really connected. He decides to attend her memorial. And while he's on his way to her memorial, he gets this really weird phone call.
Yes, we have to mention this phone call. We don't know if it's important yet, but we thought it was a strange addition. So,
Yeah. He gets a phone call from, quote unquote, Mr. Osterhaus, who is one of the interviewers from the law firm, the younger interviewer who they shared an intense moment of eye contact with.
yeah, they shared meaningful glances in a
Exactly.
scene in a bathroom.
Yes. Yes. He followed him into the bathroom. Mr. Osterhaus followed Guy into the bathroom in the first episode. And now he's calling Guy just to check in.
Just to check in, see how he's doing, if he needs
Yeah.
somebody to talk to.
Right. Is everything okay? We just want to let you know you're important to us, he says.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know. I don't know a lot of employers that would call someone who isn't even working for them yet and be like, hey, you're so important to us. If there's anything we can do, just let us know, bro. It just came across as a little suspicious.
Little suspicious. I have my theory. Should I get into it now?
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us your theory.
So my theory is, I think he is also part of the Talamasca.
Valid.
But faction of the Talamasca that is not a part of Helen's whole gig. Because I remember Helen said, not even everybody in the Talamasca knows about this particular mission. And we already know the Talamasca is heavily involved in everything Guy has done.
Right.
So I think he might be part of the Talamasca, but has nothing to do with Helen and her crew.
I think that's...
But has an eye on things.
Right. They watch, right? That's what they do.
That's what they do.
I think that's a really strong possibility. He's from another branch. Maybe he's from HQ. I mean, Helen's been up to some things. So I feel like word has to have gotten around with the different Talamasca branches. So I agree. It's totally possible that they've sent someone to spy on her and the people around her that she has in her back pocket.
But
So
we'll find out. We don't know.
Yeah, no, it's a really good theory. I feel like there's more to it. I'll be curious. Watch, it'll be nothing. It'll be nothing.
Through that scene in there to like, remember, he also has a life outside of this. It
right. They're like, remember, he could be a lawyer right now, but he's here instead.
He's about to go visit a coven.
Right. He's about to visit a coven. But remember, he could be a lawyer. But yeah, so he goes and he attends Kevis's memorial with her witch coven. And that's where we meet Doris, which is Kevis's best friend. And she's also a witch. Her and Guy start talking, and Guy asks her about Kevis's book. Doris insists it was just a scrapbook that she would use for pictures, memories. Etc. I don't really know if she's being genuine or if it's the cover that, because she doesn't know Guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's true. Maybe she's not in on it, but maybe she's like, I can't tell everything to this guy just yet. But Doris does readily express her animosity towards the Talamasca, and she lets Guy know that they can't be trusted. So how many people have told Guy that the Talamasca can't be trusted now?
Literally everyone he meets.
Literally. But at least 3 people. Like, at least 3 people. The vampire from episode 1, Daniel, and then Doris. So at
Yeah,
least
they're
three
putting
people.
all these doubts in his head about the Talamasca continuously.
Right. As if he doesn't already have every reason to not trust them. Everyone's like, no, you're right. Don't trust them. This is also where Guy finds out about his predecessor, Soledad Marcel, who died before he came onto the scene, which is why he was approached by Helen in the first place.
Because they needed her replacement. He found out he was her replacement.
Right. I just had one person die on a really screwed up, dangerous mission. Anyways, here you go, Guy, your turn. So
And I
this
just want
doesn't.
to backtrack too. I just want to say
Yeah,
I love this scene. The whole aesthetic, the background, all of their outfits of the coven. It was gorgeous. I really like how they did that.
these shows do such a good job with the aesthetic for witches. Like, I may not have liked Mayfair Witches as a storyline, not the book series. I'm talking about the show specifically, but the aesthetic, the scenes, the fashion, everything was just so
Yeah, the set
beautiful.
pieces in this scene specifically, I thought looked really good in how they styled all the witches. And I
Yes.
had pink on them because that was Kev's favorite color.
Yeah. It's probably also because this is a very modern aesthetic show.
Yes. Mhm.
So it's nice to get something that's a little more gothic feeling in
Yeah.
line with the Anne Rice universe. Meanwhile, there's a subplot going on with
Good old Jasper.
Jesper, and our little friend Checkers, who you may or may not remember from the previous episodes. He's a member of the London Talamasca branch.
Oh, the guy that gets interrogated and then calls out Jasper on the camera?
Yes. He's like, I don't know who that man on the camera watching is, but I know he's running the whole show, and I hate his guts.
Speak on it, King.
On it. But Jesper took note of that, and Checkers now thinks that he's been promoted to director affiliate in
Bless,
Jakarta.
bless his heart.
Bless his heart. He's like, I'm going to Jakarta. I'm getting a promotion. And his friends are like, I didn't even know we had a branch in Jakarta, bro.
Good for you.
Right? Good for you, I guess. But this is actually just a cover so that Jasper can kidnap him and surprise, turn him into a vampire.
Surprise, surprise.
I don't know if it was really shown in the first couple episodes, but it's officially confirmed that yes, Jasper is a good old vampire.
Yes.
So he turns Checkers and then buries him alive during the transformation. And then good old Gregory Owen, who is the head of the London Mother branch, decides to pay him a visit.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when he confronts Jesper and basically complains that he's been using the resources and the staff members inappropriately, overworking people, like sending Agent Checkers to Jakarta. So Owen doesn't know. Owen also thinks that Checkers just randomly went to Jakarta. Owen is worried that Amsterdam HQ of the Talamasca is going to catch on to what Jesper's doing and intervene. Jesper is not worried, though.
No, he doesn't
No,
have a care in the world. He's
nope.
living it up in his little loft.
Right. And he has an ace in his pocket because it's revealed that Owen is actually dying of cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Surprise. And Jasper is bribing him with his vampire blood to essentially treat his cancer instead of chemo, vampire blood. And apparently it works.
I mean, you do crazy things if you want to live, I guess.
I get it.
But to live forever?
Right. I wonder what kind of effects it will have on him because he's not technically turned, right? It'll be interesting. But I bet this is going to get really dark, but like it seems better than chemo.
You know what? You're not wrong.
Right. Like,
but we really don't know how it's going to work. So,
right. I mean, this could have awful ramifications for Owen that we just have no idea about yet. So, when you're desperate time, call for desperate measures, right?
Exactly.
I just want to take a second to say that Jesper's actor has so much charisma. Like,
he does. He's actually kind of incredible. Like, he's magnetic on screen.
Yes, that's a good word for it. And it's like such a calm charisma, too. He's not doing anything like particularly interesting, but like he just a really calm, magnetic energy about him.
Yeah, he carries himself and how he's portraying this character. It's perfect.
Right.
Like, he
Right,
was
yeah.
literally the looming threat in the show when he didn't
Yes.
have to do anything.
Right, exactly. It's like, you know he's dangerous. Even before he kidnapped Agent Checkers and turned him into a vampire, you could just there's a dangerous vibe to him. That is very interesting, and I really appreciate it. So I want to see how it's going to unfold as the story goes through. But we cut back now to Helen's storyline,
Mhm.
and she's visiting a place called Ashford Grange, and she's got a visitor. Guy has followed her.
And this time she didn't notice.
Yeah, this time she's actually impressed by it. So
That
that
just shows guys getting better in his
exactly. He actually paid attention in those super spy classes. Bless him, because I would not have.
couldn't have been me.
It was like a montage, only like 3 minutes long on our screen, and honestly couldn't follow it anyways. So I don't know how he survived a whole week of all that insanity. But the lessons are paying off. He follows her to Ashford Grange, and this is where we find out that this is a Talamasca testing facility, which Helen was taken to when she was just 8 years old, only a week after her parents died in a car accident.
Suspicious.
Just a little suspicious. She does say that her father was drunk driving, which put a pin in it. We'll come back to that. But the whole thing is just a little suspicious. Your parents die, and then a week later, the Talamasca takes you in to do testing to see if you have psychic abilities. It's just a little convenient, right?
Questions, yeah.
Right. But there are about 20 children in this program, or there were. And as Helen's revealing information to Guy, she tells him about her experience there, but what she doesn't verbalize to him, and that we only see in flashbacks and memories, is that Helen was clearly there with what appears to be her twin sister.
Mhm.
We find out that Helen ended up being sent away to America because the test didn't go so well for her. She doesn't have any special gifts that the
He
Telemasca
doesn't
is
have the
looking for.
gift. Nope.
Exactly. But what appears to be her twin sister, we won't say it until it's explicitly confirmed, but what appears to be her twin sister ended up staying behind. Clearly, the insinuation here is that she had some kind of psychic gift that the Telemasca was interested in. Do we think Helen is like Guy's aunt or something here?
Oh, interesting.
Because so Guy has psychic gifts. Clearly, her sister that stayed behind has psychic gifts. Her sister's MIA.
Yeah, we don't know where she is in the current timeline at all.
Exactly. Guy's mom is also MIA. We find out here that she's actually on the run from the Talamasca.
Yeah, they've been looking for her.
Exactly. They call her a fugitive. They say
Mm.
she's a fugitive of the Talamasca. So, I mean, you only become a fugitive from the Talamasca if you're a danger to society in some way. We don't have the facts, but I wonder if she kind of has a psychic ability.
Maybe, yeah. He probably got it from somewhere. I don't know how gifts are passed down in this universe.
Right,
Have
true.
to.
I'm just saying, though, it would explain why Helen was so personally invested in Guy's upbringing.
Yes. Yes, it would.
It's been established that, like, it wasn't just the Talamasca. She took a special interest in him. And then, following back to that pin I put in how her parents died in the car accident, she says that her father was drunk driving. And we've been told that Guy's mom had an addiction with drugs, and even
Oh,
they
yeah.
touch on it.
Mhm.
And addiction can be hereditary.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Right? I
Didn't even
mean,
connect that, but yeah,
I don't know. Maybe I'm totally off base, but
throwing stuff at them.
exactly. All we can do is speculate right now with the little information that Helen has seen fit to share with the class. Okay. She didn't even share that with Guy. We only know because we saw the memories. Poor Guy, truly. But
Okay.
we find out what is probably not a surprise. Helen isn't even Helen's real name. And Guy is really sick and tired of all these half truths and lies, and he wants more answers. So this is where we finally get multiple revelations.
Mhm.
It's confirmed. Helen lets Guy know that officially the London Mother House has completely been infiltrated by Jasper. He's using the Talamasca's resources to hunt for the 752. She insists that, like, she shouldn't be telling him anything. She's already told him too much, and the more he knows, the more danger he's in. He brings up Soledad. She uses him being in danger, but the more he knows, as an excuse for never telling him about it.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, your mom's a fugitive, but you don't need to know that. So now that guy knows that his mom's a fugitive. He believes the Talamasca is using him to lure his mother out.
Mm-hmm. And that's plausible.
Right. Helen even kind of concedes to it, but I mean, because she says there's more to it.
Yeah, there's more to it than that. Yeah.
Right. So she concedes almost.
It's
There's
not
more
that
to it,
simple.
but.
It's more complicated.
Right. But that may be a part of it, for sure. But Helen wants Guy to infiltrate the mother house. She tells him, you need to get in there, get close to Jasper, find out all the gory details. We need to be on the in. We need to know what's going on. But she tells Guy, you can figure it out, though.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you a plan. This is on you. You figure it out. Whatever you decide in the moment is going to be better than what I could plan for you, which is fair.
It's fair, but I wonder if she has ulterior motives with that too.
Definitely possible. I think we need to question basically everything she says and does at this point. Poor Guy.
I mean,
can
that's the way the show is heading. They want you to question Helen and the Talamasca and everything that they're doing.
Right, at this point, we literally question everyone. We question the interviewer from the law firm. So, like, they really, I guess that's probably a job well done. They're getting in our heads. I'd be paranoid as hell. Yeah, the paranoia is real.
Yeah, the show is gaslighting us.
Honestly, yeah, it freaking is.
They're telling us not to trust the Talamasca in
Right.
every way they can possibly can.
They're gonna be like, you can't trust the Talamasca. And then the last episode will be like, bitch, you should have trusted the Talamasca.
We told you this whole time you should have trusted the Talamasca.
I'll be like,
She told
what?
you from the beginning she was trying to help you. What was wrong?
Why didn't you trust her? Like, oh, God. Anyways, meanwhile, all this is going on. The police are beginning to track Guy as a suspect. They have this poor guy literally playing Waldo, Where's Waldo, with the entire city of London. He's tracking CCTV, and this is how he finds Guy and sees that he was tracking Archie in the previous episode. And now they're looking for Guy. They still don't know who he is.
But they know he's connected some ways because he was clearly following Archie for multiple points.
Exactly. Thankfully, we have our handler, Olive, come into the situation, and she goes undercover as an MI5 agent, and she signs out the autopsy photos. She signs out the autopsy photos from the murder of Archie and alleged suicide of Kevis. Detective Ridges is there because she has to sign out these photos, and she's immediately suspicious. She sees Olive and like, I don't know about this. This is a little weird. So that's not good.
Nope. Olive is not doing great at her job so far.
Right. And Helen has already assured Guy, she's like, everything's fine. You're covered. But as the episode goes on, we very clearly see that Guy is not covered.
No.
The cops are tracking him. Olive, if anything, I feel like made it more suspicious.
Yeah.
I feel like Detective Bridges is like, okay, now this just supports my feeling that there's something else going on here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going well. But Olive delivers these autopsy photos to Helen, and we see 2 puncture wounds on Archie's neck.
Yep. What does that mean?
Right. So at this point, pretty sure a vampire bit him at some point.
We understand the vampire at some point, but what does that mean for Archie?
Right. Was he, well, you know what? Because wasn't his throat like torn out when Guy got there?
Yeah. He was basically almost decapitated.
Right. It kind of looks, I think I assumed that his throat had been slit, but it was covered in blood and really hard to see. So now that makes sense. So it seems like whoever showed up to attack Archie and presumably Kevis was a vampire.
Yep.
Meanwhile,
I wonder.
Which vampire? Right. Good question. We'll find out soon. Or maybe we won't. Meanwhile, all this is going on. Detective Bridges visits Kevis's coven because even though they don't know who this person that they're tracking through London is, they have a photo. They have a photo of Guy's trainers.
Yep.
And for anyone who doesn't know the lingo, that's his sneakers.
Yeah. Those are sneakers for us Americans.
Right. Ridges shows this photo of Guy's trainers to our old friend Doris in Kevis's coven, and Doris covers for him. Bless her, because you genuinely could show me that picture and I'd be like, I don't know. The hell?
And about shoes.
I don't know. Maybe I've seen a bunch of people wear that, or I've seen
People
zero
wear
people
shoes
wear
all the
that.
time. I'm not looking at people's
Literally.
feet.
Literally. It's like one of my friends and I always joke that, like, if we were ever interviewed by a cop to be like, did you see a car? What did it look like? What was the color? What was the make? We'd be like, there was a car. I don't know.
It was
That's
red.
all I can
It
tell
had
you.
wheels. It was going vroom
I'm
vroom
pretty
down the
sure it
street.
was. Couldn't tell you anything else. I'm so sorry. So sorry. Not made for this. So Doris covers for Guy, and then we cut back to Guy, who is now attempting to infiltrate the London Talamasca branch, as requested by Helen. And
his job.
Yep, he
Allegedly.
basically just He basically just went up and knocked on the door. And now he's chatting with Owen, who's the head of the Talamasca branch in London, and he's threatening to expose them for being a part of the murder-suicide that happened, basically doing everything he can to lure Jesper out, because he doesn't give a shit about Owen. He wants to talk to Jesper.
Yes, he's rage baiting at this point.
Exactly. He is 100% rage baiting, and it works. Because Jesper freezes Owen mid-conversation, and he enters the scene. And, I was really curious to see what kind of tactic Guy was going to take here, because Helen said, go in, figure it out. It's all on you, bro. And so Guy just told Jesper absolutely everything.
Everything, laid it all out.
Yep. He said, I'm working with the Talamasca. I don't trust these bitches. I want to work with you. We can get the 752. I know what it looks like. We can shove it to the Talamasca, essentially, is what Guy says. And Jesper is actually kind of intrigued, because he's like, well,
likes this guy.
Right. Who's this bold little bitch who came in and marched up to the front door and just called me out? He's especially intrigued when he realizes that Guy has seen the 752, because Jasper happens to know who took the 752. So between what Guy has seen and what Jesper knows, he thinks they'd make a decent team for finding the 752.
So
there's
like
kind of
get a little team up here with Jasper.
Yes. Exactly. So it's kind of a tense standoff. There's a moment though where, like, Guy, he makes a move to leave, and I couldn't tell necessarily if he was, like, playing hard to get. He's like, okay, I got him where I want him. Now I'm gonna be like, well, I guess I'll just see you around. Like, was he playing hard to get, or was he genuinely
playing hard to get? I think it was all part of the long plan to get more.
I think you're right. For a moment, I was like, is he genuinely a little nervous? Because when he goes to leave, Jesper starts to get a little aggressive. Like, no. You're here. You're here, babe. You're here to stay. So it works out. Guy is in. Jesper is seemingly going to work with him in some capacity. I'm sure, much like Helen, it will be a very limited need-to-know basis. But I know that Guy is bullshitting. Like, he's not really planning to shove it to the Talamasca. I know he wants to.
Yes. He has his suspicions, but I think he's going to be playing both sides for a while, so he can get as much information as he can.
Yes, definitely. Well, time will tell. I feel like in the end, he'll end up obviously leaning towards the Talamasca in the end. But it would be so much fun if he genuinely, like, turns on the Talamasca.
Yeah,
I think that's a good
possibility, honestly.
I would love it. I would love the shit out of it.
Because, like, this show, like we said earlier, is continuously pointing to the fact that you don't want to trust the Talamasca.
Exactly.
And in the Anne Rice universe, these supernaturals are not depicted as bad guys all the time.
Right. This is a universe where they can be morally gray, but still be someone that you root for in the end.
Exactly.
Just like Lestat, Louis,
Lestat, Armand.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So I'm really interested to see how the dynamic between them plays out. I'm just saying, guy was like, you know what? Screw the Talamasca. I wouldn't be mad about it. I'd be here for it in the end.
Yeah, I think that would be a really interesting point.
An interesting turn because it's just so typical that he would flirt with the other side, metaphorically speaking, and then backtrack to the side he was initially on. Like, oh yeah, I can trust him after all, but it would be really lit. Just
Yeah,
saying.
I think it'd be really interesting. I would love to see that.
Yeah. But we'll find out soon. But you know, it's really interesting because the whole point of the Talamasca is they're watching, they're always watching. But the only person watching this happen is our friend Doris.
Hmm.
And she's right outside of the London headquarters. And I mean, we don't know what she's hearing, what she's seeing. She's a witch, so she has powers. Who knows? But she's definitely present for this interaction on the exterior of the building. And it's an interesting moment.
It is. We'll see how that comes into play in the future because Doris is obviously going to be another big part of the story going forward.
Right. I wonder if she's like following Guy because now she's thinking that maybe he has some information on what happened to Kevis.
Hmm.
What is she interested in? I'm really curious to see. Can't wait to see what her motivations are.
On episode 3, and we just have more questions. We have the Coven
Right.
just introduced. Do we know if we can trust them? We don't.
Right.
Do we
Right.
know if we can trust Jasper? We don't. Obviously we don't know if we can trust the Talamasca, as the show is continuously telling us.
Right. There's a whole lot of people you just can't trust.
And this is
Period.
only 6 episodes.
Yes.
We're
The
halfway
show's
done.
yes,
I'm
we're halfway
so
through.
interested to see what's going to happen.
Me too. I don't know. There's a lot going on, so I don't know how they're going to wrap everything up within 3 episodes, but they managed to fit a lot into one episode. Like so much happens in
Yeah.
one episode. So I'm hoping they can hold it through to the end with a nice finish because I'll be pretty satisfied. I'm really enjoying it. So can't wait to see what happens.
Me too. So that was our breakdown of episode 3, the Talamasca, called The Task at Hand. We will be getting into episode 2 of Welcome to Derry and our next rundown. So we hope to see you there.